We welcome you to episode 30 of Battin Chattin here in the Eastern Observer alongside Denis Tuohy. I'm Brandon Natale. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and most importantly, Battin and Chattin as you hear that room, the excitement into the end of the show. Our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Our show is presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download their newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, Satellite Radio, and many others. Dennis, how you doing today?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Little bummed that my guy Michael Brantley retired. I've always been a big fan of his, so that's a little disappointing. But
Yeah.
good for him. Great career, 15 seasons in the show. And man, it does suck though, because what could he have been without all those injuries? That just it felt like he hadn't had a full season in forever. But oh my god,
He played in the league for a long time.
So
15 years.
I was a big fan of his, even when he went
He played in
to Houston. Yeah, he had a good. He's got young kids, and he doesn't want to miss the important milestones in their life and wants to see them grow up. So good for him, man. I'm trying to get his stats up now, but my internet is a little slow. But yeah, I think he won Rookie of the Year.
I'm looking at them right now.
No, he didn't. I thought he won it in 2010. I guess not. 5-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger. I always thought he was a little better than I guess the accolades would tell you. But career
he didn't play much in 2016.
34.3 wins above replacement. Yeah, he didn't play much kind of in general after his first few seasons in the show. From 2016 on, it was just injury after injury. From that season, he had 11 games played. His next highest amount of games played after that is 148.
Yeah, Jesus. That's a lot. I mean, I guess he was on the Astros for a long time. I guess he played a crucial role for that franchise, for both organizations, I feel like, as Cleveland was coming up. The Indians, now Guardians, at the time, Guardians now, they were kind of on the come up, to making that, run to the World Series in 16, probably arguably top 5 World Series ever, or top 10. If you could say, would you consider 2016 would be like top 10 at least?
I don't know if ever, just because to be honest with you, I haven't watched enough World Series to like have an opinion on it. But certainly the 21st century. I mean, 2 curses going at it with the Cubs in Cleveland, and then a Game 7, the dramatic rain delay, all that stuff.
Right.
And it really was, even going into that series, like you didn't really know who was going to win. Like I think this year's World Series, I honestly think this year's World Series is going to go down as one of the worst World Series of the 21st century.
Why is that?
It was pretty clear the Rangers were going to beat them. Even when the Diamondbacks were like giving them a fight, it kind of didn't feel like they were going to win. I thought at least. But that 2016 World Series, when Brantley was on Cleveland, they were a good team, man. They were a good team, but the Cubs were also a really good team. It really could have gone either which way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was an exciting time. That was an exciting postseason. That whole postseason was
16.
Good. Yeah. I
remember watching.
Didn't you guys play the Mets in the NLCS or the NLDS or something? Didn't you guys play the Cubs?
We played the Cubs the year before. We didn't play them in 16. We could have. If we beat the Giants in the wild card game, then they probably would have.
That's what it was. All right, it was Giants. I remember the NLCS being good. I forgot who played who, but the Cubs Giants, that's it.
They likely would have met. That definitely would have been the World Series.
Oh, yeah, because the Cubs beat the Dodgers.
I think, well, they beat I think they beat the Giants at first, and the Giants were making a comeback. I think they were like Giants, like the Cubs almost took the series right away. And then I think the Giants won a game. They won game 3, and then they almost forced a game 5. But then I remember the Cubs, in some magical way, came back, and then they ended up going to the NLCS later on, playing the Dodgers, taking that in 6. But it was a good postseason. That Cubs postseason run is definitely going to go down as one of the best ever.
All right.
Was that?
Yeah, I said all right. Yeah, like it was a good one. That was a good season. That whole season was good. 2016. It was a good baseball season.
Yeah, oh, that was a lot.
So, yeah, man, I'm just mad that like Michael Brantley. Honestly, I was mad he wasn't ever a Yankee. I always thought he would have been a perfect Yankee, dude. I really wanted to. I mean, I said it earlier this offseason. I wanted the Yankees to sign him.
Yeah, you were saying it for the longest time on here too.
That I really wanted the Yankees to get him, man. He's just a guy like I said, he's just a professional hitter. I understand like that's kind of not talked about as much anymore, but just like the plate discipline. Anytime I think of Michael Brantley, I always just think of the plate discipline with that
Mm.
guy. He just was never going to chase ever. Like I'm looking at it now. He had a couple of seasons. He had one season where he had more walks than strikeouts, and then he was almost even a few others. So I mean, he never struck out more than. Do you want to know what his career most strikeouts in one season are?
Let me hear it.
76. That was his third year in the league, his second like full-ish season. In 2011 when he was 24. That was his highest, 76. Never got higher than 67 after that. So really just a good player all around. And yeah, man, finished third in MVP in 2014. Can you imagine this, man? 327 with 97 RBIs, 20 home runs, only 56 strikeouts and 52 walks. Really good player.
Yeah, congratulations on a good career. Clap it up for him.
Yeah, I texted our buddy Josh earlier.
Oh yeah,
What he thought. He's a huge Michael Brantley fan.
he is.
And
Yeah, I gotta give him a call. I miss
Yeah,
Josh.
he was disappointed.
I definitely gotta give him a call when I can. Good old Josh, back to the BDJ days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he definitely played a crucial role for for Houston. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes on there. And still, I know the Mets recently just signed Harrison Bader. He signed him for a 1 year contract worth $10.5 million. Now I know that he's not known for his offensive metrics, but his defense is what shines a lot. I know offense, I feel like he could put it together. I've heard he was a good player in that aspect, but now he's kind of been more known for defensive. So I mean, he was a former Yankee, so I mean, he's coming over from a crosstown rival. It's gonna be interesting to see. I know Met fans are not, he's not JD Martinez yet or Jorge Soler or even Justin Turner. It's a decent signing. And the baseball offseason, it's slow, but I like the signing. I think it's something, and the Mets are making some moves. And I'll take whatever they can.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think the Mets have to just be like smart about their constructing their roster and
Right.
bringing him in to be your center fielder, moving Nimmo to the corner and moving Marte was already in the corner. So I guess what Marte would be in left, Nimmo in right, or I guess vice versa. Obviously, Bader's going to be the center fielder. He's Gold Glover, but yeah, man, like I just think why not? If you're the Mets, like you should on paper have enough firepower in that lineup.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of did last year. We went over this. That your lineup wasn't like awful. It was
No.
a above average lineup with below average pitching. So it made you guys about, average.
Right. And
Total.
the batting
But
can't do
I think
everything for the pitching, like everybody's got to come together, and sometimes that's not the case.
Exactly. And sometimes, there's things that you can overcome. Like the Rangers overcame a mediocre to bad bullpen, right? Actually, it's outright bad bullpen to win a World Series because their guys clicked when it mattered. In the postseason, their bullpen was dominant. And the Mets, they never just got that head of steam with the starting pitcher. Every 5 days, Senga was going to give you a really good outing. It was
Right.
much better at home than on the road. And for whatever reason, those other 4 days, it was always a struggle with you guys. But the good thing
Yeah.
is, if you know you're not going to have good pitching, if you bring in elite defenders like Harrison Bader, you can kind of mitigate some of those issues, just getting outs above average and whatnot, or defensive run saved, those kinds of things. It's tough with the fielding metrics to really quantify like why so and so is a good signing. It's easy to go to the back of a trading card or to go to Baseball Reference or Fangraphs or whatever, ESPN.com, whatever you use for stats, and say, yeah, but he's hitting this. But fielding is a different kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's harder to
Yeah.
quantify without being like really plugged into the game. And even then, it's still not easy to understand because some sites use a different um, calculation than
Right.
others. So I mean, it is what it is. His defensive wins above replacement is like stellar. Last year, 6.9, 2021, 11.9. This is all Fangraphs that have a higher
Mm.
weight towards defense. 15.4 in 2018 when he was a 24-year-old, 14 in 2019. Like he's a good player. He's a really good defensive player. Offensively, like I said, kind of some things left to be desired
Mm.
there. I thought he was good on the Yankees when he was on the Yankees. I liked him a lot. But yeah, man, like his highest batting average for his career for a total season is 267 in 2021. That's not terrible.
Right.
Like that's not bad. He's not a home run guy. But for the Yankees, I always kind of felt like he kind of hit them when they mattered, like got RBIs when they mattered. So it is what it is, man. I'm sure you guys will be happy with him. He's a good
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
And I just have some of the Mets lineup, as Grant Prepare posted. Obviously, they said the lineup is you got Alvarez at catcher, Alonso obviously at first, McNeil hopefully at second. I like that. I never liked McNeil in the outfield because I hate when they. I know we've always talked about this plenty on the show, the pot on that I hate when they have guys like McNeil who are infielders. They try to make them more positions than what they are. Like I never liked McNeil in the outfield. I always thought should stay in the infield where he should be. That's what you locked him up. Definitely don't trade him. That's why I feel like maybe that's why he was a little out of sync this year. Maybe, even though it was kind of the same thing in 2022. You got Beatty at third, Lindor at short, right field would be Marte, and in center field obviously would be Bader, and left field would be Nimmo, and in DH that's a question mark. Maybe they sign Martinez, JD Martinez or
That would be
Soler.
such a good signing.
That would
That would
be
be
great. That
such a
would be
good
a great
signing for you
signing.
guys.
Definitely an upgrade over, Daniel Vogelback, who did his time here, but obviously had to move on. I definitely enjoyed some of his moments, but hey, like I said, if they can upgrade at the DH, they got to do it. And I see another comment. Someone on Twitter commented, Cody Sumwalt. This is just a random comment on there, and I want to give the credit to that guy. He said that Gilbert will be up opening day, and Bader's not starting. He's a platoon piece at best, and I mean, who knows what's going on with Drew Gilbert? I know he's highly regarded in the Mets farm system, but you never know. I mean, like, the Mets got a lot of, and that's what I always give credit to the Mets. They did a good job of waving the flag, and that's the thing. I think a lot of New York teams, and there's a lot of teams in general, but especially the New York market, should model because they're always trying to win now. It's not build for the future and then win. And I feel like that's what the different approach the Mets are doing now. It's like they thought last year was going to be a win now situation. It didn't happen. So they waved the flag and they have the prospects. So now they have the prospects to bring in and fill in that lineup or trade for a stud at the deadline or during the offseason, like you guys did for Juan Soto, Yankees. So,
What was the contract for Bader? Was it 1 for 10?
it was
Did I
one
read
for
that?
10 and a half. Yeah.
They're not using him as a platoon piece. That guy is wrong.
Yeah.
$10
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
That's not that for a guy that's going to be a bench warmer half the season. No, that's not happening.
Right, and like I said, and who
No
knows
team
how
would do
long Drew
that.
Gilbert is gonna be? He might not make it opening day. He might, stay in this, in the minors for a while, for a year, for maybe the whole season, or maybe they call him up September 1st, or it sucks. What it would have been if Ronnie Mauricio didn't get hurt. That would have been an interesting situation. Obviously he's going to be back in 2025. Hopefully he's still the same player. Hopefully he recovers well from that because ACL injury. That's not, it's not easy. But
Usually a 2-year injury.
in baseball.
just in all sports, to get back to full athleticism usually takes 2 seasons. One season that you'll be missing time, but to get
Right.
back up to
Get
like
back to
that,
that full speed, it takes 2
yeah,
years. Yeah, it's that's what happens. But no, I agree though. I like Bate, like, especially when, he's not a he shouldn't be looked at as like a platoon piece. The man
no,
has
I
like,
don't think so.
not at all. I agree with you. Like he's like I don't know why that would be even considered a thing. Like the guy's all around defensive stud, and maybe that's something the Mets need because I think they didn't rank that high in defensive metrics.
No, they didn't.
No, so you bring in a guy like Bader, that's kind of solves that problem in the outfield. You know, even though Nimmo was decent, and like I said, these are when I look at the lineup, these are outfielders. Marte, Bader, Marte if he can stay healthy, Nimmo in left field, and Bader. That's a great outfield in my opinion. I like it better than last year. Nothing against Marcana, but Marcana's not an everyday player. So I feel like they kind of were trying to make that more of him. And nothing against Marcana. I loved him. He was great.
Yeah,
I wish they
yeah,
didn't
he was a
trade
good
him.
hitter. He was a good hitter.
He was a great hitter, but I feel like he's not an everyday player. So I like this outfield. I like it way better. And if Marte can stay healthy, because he's coming down. I know last year was an injury riddled season. Um, so hopefully, we'll see. Uh, you know,
Yeah, I like it for you guys. I really do.
mm. Yeah,
I'm
no,
still, in terms of are the Mets going to, make a run at the playoffs? I'm still, I guess, concerned would be the word about your pitching staff. But aside from that, like your lineup and defense is looking pretty good.
yeah, no, it's looking pretty good. I'm just hoping, the Alonso talks now. That's like, I don't know. I feel like it's more evident that he's not going to be a Met. That's
If
like a
if
whole, you know,
if that's the case, then trade him now and just sign Reese Hoskins, or honestly
mm,
sign Reese Hoskins as a DH. Get another left-handed power hitter on your roster, and then
mm,
just whoever's the better defender between Hoskins and Alonso becomes the first baseman. The other one becomes the DH. Why not?
right.
Plus, you poach him from Philly. If you don't want to re-sign Pete Alonso, you have Reese Hoskins there. So, kind of gives you some options. I wouldn't mind that. Or, like you said, get JD Martinez, who's probably the best available quote unquote DH out there. Soler was a little inconsistent for the Marlins. So, I know a lot of Marlins fans weren't too keen on him, but
Mm.
yeah, we'll see. They're in a weird spot. Did you hear that they're taking trade requests on Jesus Luzardo?
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. That team, I kind of follow the Marlins a little bit because I went there to Miami and I had a fun time. And the people that worked there, everybody was really, really nice, really cool.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of a way to say it without being impolite or rude. But I think I just kind of got to rip the Band-Aid off. Do they have any idea what they're doing? The Marlins, after Kim Ng left? It seemed like they had a pretty good plan moving forward. All right, you have like an excellent pitching staff, some young players. God knows you have enough money to throw around. You're in freaking Miami. It shouldn't be hard to attract a free agent. Yet for
Yeah,
some
I don't know why.
reason, I don't understand that team. It really listen. I'm going to sound like a little jerky here, but it really is. It really is a team that I look at and say like I could probably run them better. And
Yeah,
that's
that
not a good sign. Because I'm not saying that to be a hot take guy. I'm not saying it to be a tool bag, but it's coming
no,
off as such.
no, I know.
I really do think that a regular fan may be able to run the Marlins better than the Marlins. Not in terms of the finance and stuff like that. Like, listen, I'm an idiot. I'm no Mark Cuban. But just in terms of getting players and whatnot, I don't think I don't understand why that team for 25 years now has just not been able to land that spot.
Right, like be
I
that
mean,
be that place where marquee free agents go. Like be that spot. Like the Dodgers,
right?
Mets, or
Because like
Yankees,
you would think like
Padres.
it's Miami. like I've said this to you in the past that you, especially for someone like Jesus Luzardo, who is, from Latin America,
Right.
you should have a massive advantage with re-signing those kinds of players. It's close to their home. I remember watching the documentary about the Hernandez brothers, Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, and Levon, his brother. Levon was with the Marlins. And Levon said one of the reasons why he was so excited to play for the Marlins was he defected from Cuba and like the culture of Miami and whatnot. So like it was a kind of like going from I guess like almost like from Long Island to New York City. It's different, but you'll
Yeah.
kind of figure it out because
Right.
there's such a high Cuban population for him.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, like, that was what, 1994, 95, something like that. I forget the year offhand. Might have even been 97, the World Series year. But like they were able to figure it out then. But they haven't been able to get it since to kind of play to that target. And same thing with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
I remember there was reports earlier in the offseason that Randy Arozarena, they're trying to shop around.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, like, at some point you're gonna run out of hitters. Like your team's gonna run out of hitters.
I feel like we talked about that, didn't we?
It's unbelievable. The Florida teams, man. And listen, everybody's gonna say, yeah, but then they always do better than the Yankees did. The Rays always do better than the Yankees. But it's I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. I was looking at the Marlins last year as like, dude, they're a few pieces away from really being dangerous. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And it guess kind of relates to your Mets thing, because I would think that you guys still, in my opinion, have probably the fourth best pitching staff in that division, only ahead of the Nationals. And quite frankly, I just don't know enough about the Nationals to rate them fairly. The thing I will say is they really play hard for Davey Martinez. You could see it.
Yeah.
And there is potential with some of their players. But, like your bullpen and whatnot could still be better. Edwin Diaz is going to be coming back. So
yeah, that's going to be fun.
At least the Marlins made the playoffs last year. If you want to say, well, it's just the Fugazi format now, whatever, you could. But the good thing is I do think that with Harrison Bader and Edwin Diaz coming back, maybe some other injuries break your way, I do think that you guys can jump the Marlins and make the playoffs this year. I think the Central Division is going to beat up on itself again. The Cardinals did nothing this offseason. They brought in Lance Lynn. They brought in Sonny Gray. Lance Lynn is over the hill. And Sonny Gray, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really think everybody keeps saying this is their team without Yadier Molina. I really think this is their team without Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, Greg Maddox's brother. Terrific with them forever. And with the Rangers before them, won a ring with the Rangers this year. I don't know. I'm very curious about the Cardinals. So I'm just trying to think of other kind of playoff teams you can jump. The Reds, they spent a lot in free agency, but I don't know who they got. It's a weird kind of circumstance like that, which maybe it's just me. I'm not plugged into the Central divisions as much as other people are. That could definitely be a part of it. But just kind of going through thinking, I don't see a reason why the Mets can't make the playoffs. I get it. The Padres, you would think, got better. They got a loaded pitching staff now. They just signed that Korean kid we'll get to in a bit, but as a reliever to be their closer. But I mean, I don't know, man. I really do think the Mets can have a good year, but I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. Everybody's going to be high on the Braves going into the regular season. And when we get closer to the regular season, I'm sure we'll do like a profile and projections on all the teams, all their moves, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, it's the Phillies division to lose. As someone who covered them last year, that's a nasty team. So that's the team. If I'm the Mets, that's the team I'm trying to look on how to beat. So think like the Phillies, develop like the Braves. If I'm the Mets, that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like definitely every offseason, I know people say the Mets are going to win. It's before the season, preseason rankings. Mets are always on the top. Everyone always says No, Mets going to take the division. This is the year. No, this year it should be the Braves. And I'm sorry to say that. It's the truth. Like, how are you going to sit here for the past 5 years and say that the Braves are not going to take the division? Come on.
I
I
just
mean,
think
you know,
I just think the Phillies are a better team. They
you
were
know,
without Bryce
that's a
Harper
good
for a month
option.
and a half.
That's a good option. And like I said, I love my Mets. I'm not trying to crucify them as much. I don't should say crucify, but I'm not trying to bash them as much. But I'm just saying, like, the fact that if everybody's going to say they have a shot, I feel like this is going to be the season they're not going to be ranked as high in the NL East rankings. Maybe not for the NL East title, and you never know. Sports is very unpredictable. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't feel like
Oh
anybody,
yeah.
like, because in the past couple of seasons, everybody says the Mets are going to take the division. That's not going to be the case. It's definitely going to come between the Braves and the Phillies. Phillies definitely got a great. I mean, they got a great shot. I feel like. I mean, they win when it matters. Like they've been dominant. Like they've. I feel like the Braves and the Phillies rivalry. I know we've said it in the past. It's not as. That's a rivalry that's not as talked about as much.
Yeah, and especially they just had 2 playoff series back-to-back years, and the Phillies sent them home both times. And this year it wasn't even really that close. They had that one game. Aside from that, the Phillies blew their doors
Yeah,
off.
the Phillies. Yeah, they blew them away. Like
And
it's,
once again, you can say like, well, injuries this, injuries that. Listen, I think in baseball, the nature of baseball, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Is kind of what people have said for 100 years. It's a part of the game. So, like, I understand the Braves were banged up and whatnot. A little bit this year, but mainly last year. I don't know, man. I don't know.
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we definitely do something like that before the season starts. I you know, it is. I mean, the Braves they definitely got a good shot. I forgot what we talking about the let up before that.
We went from the Mets to the Jesus Luzardo maybe being traded rumors to the NL East as a whole. And now, why don't we talk about the Braves' big move? Chris Sale.
Oh right, yeah,
Chris Sale. Oh my God. Future Hall of Famer Chris Sale? Maybe.
maybe
Right?
it's depending. We'll see. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
Yeah. You want to talk? This is kind of what I'm getting at with my main, my magnum opus of sports media. The don't get, don't whine and complain about injuries when you sign injury prone players. This, I don't know. I don't know if I like this for the Braves, to be honest with you. They traded Vaughn Grissom for him. Vaughn Grissom is a young middle infielder. They're honestly, their lineup is too crowded, the Braves, right? You have
Right.
Austin Riley
Oh,
at third, one of the best third basemen in the league. You have Matt Olson at first, one of the best first basemen in the league. You have Ozzy Albies, and then you had Arcia, who had a monster season for them out of nowhere. So if you're going to use, trade an asset, Vaughn Grissom is the one that you'd want to trade. So I get it. I get it from their perspective, but I don't know, man. Chris Sale, I'm just so nervous. He had 20 starts last year and he had a bad season. He had a 4.3 ERA. Before that, he had 2 starts. Before that, he had 9 starts. Missed off 2020, Tommy John surgery. Okay, fine. 25 starts in 2019, 27, 30. He was a workhorse up until then. But the past few years, it is, I don't know, man. He's really become injury prone. I feel like.
right.
I mean, he missed almost 3 seasons in a row. So we'll see. But I'm looking at the postseason numbers too. I don't really remember him being like a dominant postseason pitcher, but also not being a dominant postseason pitcher. His postseason ERA for his career 6.35. I remember he got shelled by the Rays in 2021 in that ALDS game. They actually won the game, but not for a lack of his effort. throwing it away. 1 inning pitch, 5 earned runs. I remember that. But yeah, I don't know, man. And then they extended him right away too. He's not a spring chicken, dude. He's getting up there in age. He's been in the league forever. He's 34 years old. I don't know, man. He was drafted by the Rockies. I had no idea. Oh, and then okay, that's what it was. He went to college and then got drafted again, redeclared. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous about the Chris Sale trade. For the Red Sox, I like it. I mean, you move off that contract; it's a pretty big deal. And it is reported that the Yankees are the Red Sox. There we go. Are going to be paying some of that money. I just don't know what in particular.
Right.
Like how much it is. I'm going to see if I can find it somewhere. When it was originally reported, I couldn't find it anywhere, but I'll see it now. He did sign a 2-year, $38 million extension with them right away. So he'll be 36, 37 afterwards. I don't know how I just got flung to a different website, but yeah, Sale's previous contract ran through 2024 and guaranteed him $27.5 million through $10 million was deferred, bringing the present value down to around $21 million. With a $20 million club option for 2025, the new deal bumps Sale's present day guarantee significantly, giving him $16 million in 24, 22, and 25, while the Braves add a buyout fee, $18 million club option for 26. All right. I mean, that's all economic jargon. But he'll turn 35 on March 30th. So they have him, I guess, until he's 37. It's a lot of money to be playing for a guy who's had injuries the past couple of years.
Right.
And I don't know. He had 20 starts last year, and it wasn't a great season. A lot of the veteran pitchers in the league played baseball obviously longer than the guys coming up from the minors. So a lot of them did complain about the pitch clock and pickoffs and things like that. Like there's a little gamesmanship, obviously, with the pickoffs and trying to catch your breath, trying to pace yourself. Maybe we could write it off. Worst ERA of his career, but
right.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It's interesting. I'm curious. Obviously, you're a Mets fan, so I gave kind of the non-NL East fan perspective of it. You're a Mets fan. Your Mets are going to be playing the Braves a lot, racing for a division. What do you think about it?
Chris Sale?
Yeah, going to the Braves.
It's definitely an interesting move. It's definitely not it's not a big surprise move. I mean, it's a little surprising, but it's not like a big high key move. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do. How he fits into the rotation because they got Strider, still got Charlie Morton. So it's
he's a free. I think Charlie Morton might be a free agent
still.
I think so. I just read it somewhere. Left-hander Max Fried will hit free agency after 24 and could get it in excess of $200 million, a number unlikely to fit in the Braves' budget. Right-hander Charlie Morton could retire. That's what it says on this article by Jeff Passan that I was just reading the excerpts from.
Yeah.
I guess I should have credited him sooner. My bad. But I'm going to see if I can find their current roster to see if he's actually on it or if this is his last year and that's why it said it in there. But I thought he might have been a free agent. Continue.
Yeah, no, like I said, I didn't know he was still in the league because I know he's had a lot of injury concerns. So I mean,
yeah, and then once again, he had 20 starts last year, which isn't great, but is something. So I'm trying to see if I can find a current roster. That's always the hard thing of trying to find the rosters in the off season. Is it updated or not? 2024 Braves roster. All right, here we go. Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Sports, don't fail me now. they still have Oscar Yanoa. Do you remember that guy? The pitcher
Was
who
that
was raking for a couple. Oscar Yanoa from the Braves. He was raking for a little bit. The pitcher, he hit a grand slam or two, and then he just
really?
got
Are you
injured. He
kidding?
punched a wall or something. You don't remember this? This was 2 years ago.
That's insane.
He got some. I think he punched a wall or something like that, and he broke his hand.
Was that Drew Storm?
I could be wrong on the injury. Dude, it happened 2 years ago. I remember it.
I remember
It was
it
right.
happened.
It was right around the time of. Do you remember your mean Mercedes from the White Sox? It was around the same time. The
Yes.
Jeremy Lin's of baseball going on. Heaters. The Tommy DeVitos. They had their Tommy DeVito moment.
Time of the videos.
Sorry, this is the pitchers currently on the Braves roster. Ian Anderson, who's, I guess, on the IL. I don't know. Aaron Bummer, who they made a trade for earlier. He's a relief pitcher. Dylan Dodd, who's a starting pitcher. I'm not too familiar with his game. 1 year experience. All right. Bryce Elder, who's pretty good. Starting pitcher, Max Fried. Daysbel Hernandez, relief pitcher. They don't even have a picture of him up. He's going to be, I guess, a rookie from Cedino, Cuba.
Right.
Raisel Iglesias, the relief pitcher they got from the Angels. Joe Jimenez, relief pitcher from San Juan, Puerto Rico. His 7th year in the career in the show. I recognize the name. I don't know much about him. Pierce Johnson, Ray Kerr, Dylan Lee, Reynaldo Lopez, also from he's starting pitcher, also from the Angels. Tyler Matzik, AJ Minter, Charlie Morton. Oh, that answers that. I guess he's still on the roster. Penn Murphy, Chris Sale. Yeah, this is updated, so you're right.
Yeah.
Oscar Hanoa. They have so many injuries. They had so many injuries on this pitching staff last year, man. I'm already. So go ahead. I derailed it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't care. Dennis, don't ever apologize. Let me see. Just looking at Chris Sale. I know he was great for the White Sox. He's a Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah, okay, that's true. My friend Sean Flanagan, he always says that he's a Florida Gulf Coast University alum, and he was right. First round too. Wow. Okay, coming from that college. I mean, it's a pretty big. It's D1 in Florida. It's a D1 college. I mean, not a lot of people have heard of it. Not like they've heard of like UCF. Well, that's where it's from. It's not a lot of people have heard of UCF or University of Miami or Florida State, but Florida Gulf Coast. It's I'm not trying to promote it, but that's big college down Fort Myers. That's where Chris Sale is from. He's 13th. He was the 13th pick for the White Sox back then. So no,
I'm sorry. Is it them or is it Carolina Coast that has the football team with like the black and blue jerseys, or like the
Coastal Carolina?
That's the one, dude. All right. Once again, I derailed the conversation.
No, I don't care.
Their jerseys are sick.
You're all good, Dennis. Yeah, no, Coastal Carolina. They're pretty high up there too, and they have a good football program too, Coastal. But anyways, you're just looking at his stats. I mean, it's definitely got some good stats. He only pitched 20 games last year. All right. So yeah, 2021 and then 22, it was definitely up and down. Like, I guess injuries just derailed his career. But you look at the rest of his career, when I look at this, I think of a dominant pitcher just going to a dominant team. So hopefully maybe he rejuvenates his career a little bit down in Atlanta. So we'll see. I like the move. So good, good for them.
Yeah. I think it's a high risk, high reward kind of a deal.
Right. Do you think the age should be a concern? He's going to be 35.
Yes. Yeah, I think it should be. When it was 35 for Justin Verlander, when he was with Houston, it was different because throughout most of his career to that point, even now, Justin Verlander's always kind of avoided injuries. Little things here or there, but overall, pretty healthy for given his age.
Right.
We're starting to see Max Scherzer get bogged down with injuries. The amount of miles on Clayton Kershaw's arm is unbelievable. And he's the same age as DeGrom. DeGrom signed a monster deal. Kershaw is people are expecting him to maybe retire. I mean, it's just different for everybody. And that's kind of the thing I'd be concerned about with Chris Sale is the amount of miles the White Sox put on his arm young.
Wow, he's 35, Kershaw? And you saying that's DeGrom's age? So Kershaw came out.
They're the same
in
age.
08. And then let me look at DeGrom's right now.
The thing is, DeGrom switched from shortstop to pitcher. Kershaw came up his whole life
Wow.
as a
Oh,
pitcher, so the
that's
mileage is different.
yeah. Oh, he had a so I guess it's like that's not good. So I mean, Texas, I feel like they should have known what they were getting into. You know what I mean? Like this should have been, with the age limit. I mean, granted, like I said, you never know. I mean,
You're the Mets
DeGrom,
fan.
What?
You're the Mets fan. You saw him play.
I saw him
Gets
play.
hurt
Yeah.
every other Tuesday.
I mean, so injuries kind of derailed a little bit of his career. I mean, but hopefully that changes. I hopefully he recovers well and hopes the best. It was sad watch, seeing him the way he was. Like just crying at the press conference. That to me hurt a little bit. You never want to see that happen to anybody. Because he was. But anyways, either way, so we just going back now to Kershaw and now DeGrom. Like you just look at that. It's definitely interesting because, like, I think I guess 35 is now the age where it's, for a pitcher, it's starting to come down in your 30s at least. It's just like in football when you got the running back position. The running back position is pretty vital. Like if you're a certain age, you're considered no goods anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad goods. It's bad. Um. So I'm just looking up Justin Verlander right now, seeing what age he had when he had his Tommy John. Was he? Do you remember when he had his Tommy John? I'm just looking at it right now.
It was 2021 because he missed the World Series. No, excuse me, 2022.
It was 2021. It was 2000.
Did he miss all of 22?
He pitched one game in 2020, and then I guess that's when he went out. He missed all of 21.
How much did he miss of 22?
Nothing. He played all of it. 28 starts.
Oh, I don't remember him playing in the World Series for some reason.
He had he was 18-4 with a 1.75 ERA.
Dang, man.
I wonder what would have happened if the Mets were more put together. What would have happened if he was? That was a great season. That's a great NLC season. So now I guess just getting back to Chris Sale and the age. So you just hope that the age should definitely be a concern because I mean, it's like you said, a high risk, high reward because you don't know what's going to happen. Like anything, I think honestly, anything is any given moment. But you just hope for the best. You stay positive and you just go about things like they are. And when something happens, it happens. It's just like unfortunately, I have to say it with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Jets should have known. We should have known what we were getting into. He's 39. At the time. I know Tom Brady. No one didn't say anything with Tom Brady. With age. I mean, he was 42, I think, when he signed with Tampa. So no, he could have got hurt. Anything is at any given moment. So, it's when you're up there in age, it's injuries are more likely. They're more prone. They're more prone with anything, especially when you're high up there in age. Yes. So I mean, but no, I mean, maybe Chris Sale has probably got over those injury humps, and it should be good for the Braves. So we'll see.
Yeah. I always thought Zach Greinke would have been great on the Braves.
Why hasn't Zach Greinke got picked up yet?
I think it's because he's 40 and people are nervous about that.
He didn't have a good year though last year, right? Didn't he have?
He didn't have a good year, but he was also in the Royals. Like,
yeah, you're not gonna.
You know what I mean? Like their pitching is not very good. They're like maybe it's the pitching staff, maybe it just didn't click. The guy could still eat innings.
He's 40. Wow, yeah, he's 40. Jesus.
Yeah, I know you're a big Met fan. On MLB Network right now, they're showing, I guess, some of the great postseason innings, and it's been so much of the 1986 run. I don't know if you have MLB Network in your room or not, but right now they're showing World Series Game 6, the Bill Buckner inning. So, yeah, thought maybe you'd appreciate it. But Zach Greinke, I want to see him play somewhere, man. Same thing with Joey Votto. Joey Votto is a free agent still.
I thought he was going to retire.
Joey Votto?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't retired yet.
Okay. I think
that's someone I wouldn't mind seeing the Mets get as a DH.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with them. I mean, there's all talk, there's all rumors and all news and stuff. Like I said, my motto this year is actions speak louder than words. There's a lot of words, a lot of talking. There's not a lot of action, but that's the baseball offseason, Dennis. That's what happens, and it's not. There's a lot of room. I'm looking on right now. I've seen the Mets have remained in contact with left-hander Shadi Amagi. Did I say that right? The left-handed
Shota
pitcher,
Imanaga?
Shodi Imanaga. Yeah,
Okay.
I would like. I mean, just looking at that, I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's not a lot of money, 100 million. I mean, well, it's a lot of, but it's like kind of relatively what Shohei got around that. Shohei I know got 75 million. The Mets kind of need a lefty pitcher. You plug it, you plug him in. I feel like that'd be good for the Mets because they need a lefty pitching. David Peterson's going to be out till the summer potentially.
Yeah.
I see that they might go after. Now they remain interested in Sean Manaea, according to John Heyman. And this was a couple days ago.
Yeah, he's all right. Sean Manaea. He was with the Giants last year.
Mm.
You want to talk about disappointing teams? Jesus. Oosh. The Giants? I'm not talking about my G-men. I'm talking about
San Francisco Bay
Giants
Area
organization.
Giants. The Bay Area
Oh
Giants.
my god, dude, that kid, Jung-Hoo Lee, bro,
What?
he better show up and play like freaking Willie McCovey right away because they're literally like, I don't know, man. I like their catcher Patrick Bailey. I like him. I like Mike Yastrzemski. The rest of that lineup, though,
Is mid.
You're being very polite. Wilmer Flores, I like too. Yeah, dude, this is awesome on MLB Network right now. It's just great innings. I'm watching 2011 World Series. This is fun.
Mm.
Oh well.
Yeah, hey, no, I wish I would tune in. I can't. I would tune in if I could. So
The Yankees signed their first free agent.
really,
Do you want to take a guess who it is if you don't know who he is? It's a huge splash.
is it a pitcher?
It is a pitcher. It's a right-handed pitcher. You're not going to get it.
Montgomery?
I don't even know who this guy
Montgomery's a
was.
lefty. Montgomery's a lefty.
No. This is on me. I was being a little sarcastic when I said it was a big splash. Former Miami Marlin Cody Poteet.
Okay, no, I would have not have guessed that.
Poteet?
That I would have not been able to guess.
He is a right-handed pitcher, 29 years old. Pitched 19 games last year, 9 starts with a 4.45 ERA. And they brought him in just kind of to see what can you do. And yeah. Last year. All right, so last year wasn't terrible. He had a 3.86 ERA last season in 12 games played, 2 starts, 2 finishes, 28 innings. All right, 108 ERA plus. Seems like there could be some decent upside as like a 5 rotation spot guy or a long relief role. So welcome to the team, Cody. It's a pretty cheap deal too. I'm sure that helped.
Yeah, hey, good for you guys. Has this been a slow off season? Do you think? Looking now in January, do you think this has been the slowest?
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, you have a reigning Cy Young Award winner who there's not been a single anything on.
Blake Snell.
Yeah, where's he gonna go?
I know
Cody
they said
Bellinger. There's been nothing on. There's been nothing on Cody Bellinger yet. I do not want Blake Snell at all.
Why not?
I'm just listen. He can't get out of the 6th inning. Not only can he not get out of the 6th inning, he just walks everybody. I just that's the kind of guy. You know me. I hate the whole the New York media. The New York media. That's the kind of guy. It's like, listen, when it rains, it pours, and that's the guy you cannot have in New York. You know what I mean? Like I'm very nervous about that.
Yeah. Like when it comes.
Yeah, I'm very nervous about that. He seems like the type that would handle the pressure of New York and whatnot well, like his personality of it.
But when the stuff hits the fan,
those kinds of guys, man, I don't know. When the stuff hits the fan, like I don't know how he can if he's the type that would bounce back or not, or dwell on it. But yeah, so the Yankees signed that pitcher Cody for $750,000. Can't go wrong with that.
Mm.
Yeah, Blake Snell, he should go to Seattle, man. What's taking them so long? He's
Seattle.
a hometown kid.
Seattle's not bad.
What are you doing?
He should go to Seattle. That wouldn't be bad of an idea.
They have no line. They you know who needs to sign JD Martinez? It's the Mariners.
The Mets.
They don't have anybody who can hit. The Mets, the Mariners, anybody could use him. I'm surprised that there's not been. I haven't seen a single rumor with that dude yet. Same thing with Justin Turner. Aside from the Mets are interested in him, I haven't seen anything.
I would love Justin Turner. He'd be a good guy.
Maybe he's going to be your DH, but I wouldn't
say he'd necessarily be the DH, but I could definitely see him coming.
To learn from
the infielder. Learn from like the veterans they have now. Even McNeil. Even though McNeil, I feel like he's. I'm not saying he needs more to learn from, but they need somebody to to just another bat,
a winner,
because
a winner.
That too. I'm just saying these are guys. Just sign these guys, but they're not just like, it's not like adding random players. And I hate to use another football example. It's not when the Jets signed Dalvin Cook to a running back room that was filled with already 4 started running backs. And I know we'll talk about that in a football podcast I'm trying to develop. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like they're adding Justin Turner to like, I feel like it would be in a sense a little bit, but it's not like they're adding Justin Turner to like a crowded infield. It's just, this is, ways that they could, just add to the lineup.
Yeah. The Brewers have also been too quiet. I'm out on the Brewers. I am. All year long, I've been out on the Brewers. Borderline, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I actually don't. There's not one reason for me to think they'll make the playoffs.
Do you think it was a blessing that they won the Central?
No. No, they have so many holes on that team, man. I mean, you guys got Adrian Hauser from them. Was pretty good. I think he might have been on the Rockies last year. I forget. You guys traded for Adrian
We
Hauser.
traded from the Brewers from him, yeah.
Oh, he was still on the Brewers. All right.
He's still on the Brewers, yeah.
I forgot who went to the Rockies. But, yeah, like, they don't have anybody who can hit. I went through this. I don't know if it was on this show or another show. I think it might have been another one I was on recently. And once again, I don't like sounding like a tool, but we're kind of laughing at like just how like mediocre their lineup was. That team doesn't need JD Martinez or Cody Bellinger or somebody. Like, I'm sick and tired of these teams. I say it every episode. I'm sick and tired of these teams that are small market teams just refusing to try.
Mm.
Like you don't have to find a diamond in the rough. Now, I know the owner of the Brewers, Jamie Gertz of Lost Boys fame, great movie, probably doesn't have as much money as Hal Steinbrenner or Steve Cohen. But her and her husband have enough money that they also own the Atlanta Hawks, so they're not exactly poverty. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like, there's reports that like they might trade Corbin Burns. It's like, why not extend the guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he came up through your organization. I'm sure you should have like a good rapport with him. It's like the small market team should excel at retaining guys. Like, Jose Ramirez loves playing in Cleveland, so he re-signed with Cleveland. Could you imagine if Cleveland was just like, you know what? He's the best third baseman in the league. I don't want him. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? So I hope the Mariners do things differently. I don't want them to be another one. Their fans waited 21 years to make the playoffs.
Right.
And last year, their lineup was trash. They haven't done anything to address that trash lineup. It really was, man. It really was. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but I've said that like 100 times this episode. Man, maybe I'm just in the mood. But you know what the Mariners' big offseason move was? Trading Jared Kelenic. Bro.
Former
I get it. I know he's not Carl Yastrzemski, but like, come on. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Can I find other? All right, we'll go to standings. I'll see what the Mariners roster is right now. Their DH last year, the Mariners. Do you know who their best DH was? I'm gonna laugh.
Let me hear it.
Mike Ford, former Yankee legend. Mike Ford. Oh, they're about to show Gene Larkin.
Are you
I
serious?
think they're about to show the Gene Larkin hit. Yeah.
No, let me see. All right, now I gotta pull it up. I gotta get out. Now I gotta. Excuse me. Now I gotta see this.
Yeah, they're talking about the Twins. So I'm guessing they're going to be talking about our boy Mr. Larkin, who we interviewed.
Yeah, I would love to have him again in the future. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just caught the end of it.
I don't think they showed it yet. I think they were just introducing it. I have the TV on mute, so I wouldn't mind doing like we gotta talk off air. I have an idea, but
What's up?
I have an idea that I would like to do one day, but I'll tell you off air.
I wonder how you. Is MLB Network? Is that in the city or is that like in Los Angeles? Like some sports station?
Their studio is in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, here it is. Right now.
A few one of our alums from college won a sports Emmy working for MLB.
Did he really?
Yeah. Did you ever meet Moses Nunez?
No, I think you did. You said you.
Yeah, I met him once. This guy.
You met him, yeah.
This really was like arguably one of the best games ever, man. This game is a trip.
It was on CBS.
I caught it on it.
Yeah.
I caught it on MLB Network once and I watched it. It is a trip. 10 innings in one game, dog. Jack Morris was a stud. I understand he's got a reputation. He had a reputation. I don't know how he is now. He had a reputation for kind of being a little bit of a tool. But like I know, I think like him and Dave Steep like hated each other or something. But yeah, 10 innings in one game. Kevin Cash of the Rays. The anti-Kevin Cash.
It was great talking to the Gene at that. Just are they going to show? I think they're going to show him right now. Oh no, they're not. They keep. Oh no, here's Pena. There he is.
They're setting him up. They're setting up our guy.
Wait, let me hear it. I want to hear it.
Oh God.
That's great. You're hearing that Metrodome crowd, like the.
Dude, anytime I play MLB The Show, I play at the Metrodome. I love that place.
Just seeing the Metrodome.
It just looks so cool.
That definitely would have been a trip. I had to hear for that. It was great talking to Gene about that. I enjoyed
one day.
I'm glad I was able to reach out to him. My dad always said it for the longest time, and I
remember
he said like, oh, and then I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me see what I can do, and luckily I was able to find him. The power of the internet. Crazy.
I guess I missed it or something like that because now they're in 92 Pirates versus Braves. This is a good one. I don't know if you've ever seen this one. This was the year Deion Sanders was on the Braves. And he had an insane World Series. It's not talked about nearly as enough as it should be. If you look up Deion Sanders World Series stats, they are insane.
Didn't they won it in 95? Did he win it in 95 with them?
He never won a World Series, no.
Really?
He played in it, but he didn't win it.
I would have thought he won it in when they
No. The Braves went to so many World Series in the 90s. Honestly, the Braves are the Bills of the 90s. They went to so many World Series and they only won one. The Braves different than the Bills in that regard. But I remember the Yankees beat them 8 straight times in the World Series.
Right.
They were down 2-0. It took 2 on the road in Atlanta. Snatched their chain. Debo. Do
you see right now?
Or like Aqib Talib, but Michael Crabtree.
Do you see right now the Indians? Oh, wow. Bobby Bonilla? Are you kidding me?
Gary Sheffield. Is that Gary Sheffield? No, look at Gary Sheffield. Young Gary.
I just see
Then I think it's my guy Edgar Renteria. Jeff Conine. Dude, those old Marlins jerseys are so fresh. Oh, it was Craig Counsell.
Wow, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Brewer, now Mr. Cubby.
Wow. Bobby Bonilla, man. I can't
Bobby
believe that.
B. Bobby B.
What can you tell me what was the story with that with the Mets? Why is this like was he not a good signing for the Mets?
Financially, it should have been a great signing for the Mets. He just underperformed.
He
That's
just
it.
didn't live up to it.
He
And
just
then
didn't live
now
up
they
to it.
and then now they're caught up to the
Then he went
contract.
to the Marlins and instantly won a World Series. That's kind of what happened. He left the Mets and become like great, right? And it's kind of funny.
Wait,
You
he
look
went
up his
back to
stats.
he went back to
No, he left the Mets. I'm going to pull up his stats right now. He left the Mets and like instantly got really good, if I'm not mistaken. This is off memory, so it could be a little shaky. Bobby Bonilla. Yeah, he played from 86 to 01. And he was with you guys. Come on, help me out here. From 92 to 95. He was back with you guys, too, in 1999. That doesn't get talked about. So as much hate as people want to give Bobby Bonilla, you guys sure like them.
yeah, they definitely
What is
did.
an all-star with you guys? I don't. Maybe I just don't understand the hate with him. Batting average. I know it was a big. It was a
I
big
think it's because
financial
I
thing.
think it's
He
because of
batted
the
250
contract.
with you guys 1 year. 34 home runs. How many strikeouts? 90. All right, so he struck you out a lot. Big whoop. His
I
OPS
think
plus is
it's because of the
ridiculous when he was with you guys.
it's because of the contract. When yeah, you're paying a guy so much for like the next
Then he went to
24
Baltimore.
years.
Went to Baltimore at 116 RBIs. My God. Then yeah, he raked. He raked for the freaking fish, bro. 297, 96 RBIs, 17 homers.
Poor Cleveland. Just watching that, like, because they were still Cleveland. The city was still in a drought of a World Series.
They still are. Jim Leyland just became a Hall of Famer.
Well,
Good
not
for
really,
him.
because the
Wow.
Cavaliers won it.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about.
Wow. I'm not glad. I do got to wrap. We should wrap this up.
All right. Yeah, I can tell we're kind of running out of things. Is there anything else before we wrap up? There's nothing news, right?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I mean, Bauer admitted that he made some mistakes and wants another shot at the MLB, but
We'll take a look at that later. Next week.
all right.
All right, cool. Be sure to check out our revamped website at www.easternobserver.com for the latest news in the world of baseball and so much more. We thank you for joining us in another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time. And also one more thing, we want to shout out and rest in peace to Dylan Nuccio, for a kid that
Right.
a Plain Edge senior who tragically passed away. As you know, January
Second.
January 2nd. So rest in peace to the Nuccio family. They are a great family, especially the mother. Was my fourth grade teacher, so definitely hoping that she's okay. Family's been through a lot. So like I said, rest in peace to Dylan Nuccio. We hope you're well. And then again, like I said, either way. Hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday. I know we didn't get to say that in the beginning. And yep, just everybody be blessed. Everybody drive safe, and everybody stay safe. And yep, that's it.